I have a Valentine, but nothing to get for them. I really appreciate Fury, and since I can't go outside, well, I don't have anyone else to be my Valentine, so I need something to get for him. What's this? Fury, a tissue paper flower just for you. So since we can't go outside, we don't really have Valentines, but we could still make Valentine stuff. So today's edition of Crafting with Big Brothers Big Sisters is making some beautiful tissue paper flowers. Now, these are actually surprisingly challenging, but they're highly customizable. They don't require very many resources, and I think they look very cute. So let's go see how to make them. You'll need these supplies: a mechanical pencil or other pencil, scissors, some tape, some white or clear glue, a variety of colors of tissue paper if you like, as well as some floral wire and some stamens. So you want to start with your floral wire. Now I'm not sure how well you guys can see this, but here's my floral wire. Now mine's a little bit long, so I'm just going to bend it in half. That way it's not only a little bit more manageable, but then it should also be more sturdy, just because it'll be thicker. So I'm going to start by folding my floral wire in half. And now we've got the base for our flower. Then you want to take your stamen, which is just the kind of the middle of the flower. It's those little pollinating buds in the middle. And you just want to take it and wrap some of your floral wire around it like this. As you can see, it's sort of wrapped around, and then I'm just going to take a little bit of tape and I'm going to tape that on there. There we are. Now those should stay together. Next, you're going to take your tissue paper and cut it into a third. So you want to cut a third off of it. So I've already actually cut a third off of this one, so I'm just going to cut this one in half. And if it's a little too thick for your scissors, feel free to break some off and like rip some of the paper out and kind of make it thinner so it's easier to cut. Okay, now I've cut a third of this off. Got this here. And then you're just going to want to spread this out. And on it, you want to trace a leaf pattern. So it might be hard to see, but I have traced a sort of leaf pattern on here just by drawing one line straight across the bottom of the tissue paper, and then by drawing little sort of circles or leaf shapes here. Now you can freehand these. Right here we've kind of just got these ovular shapes, or you can go and try to find a leaf and trace it on there. Either way, you just want to have a leaf pattern all along here. Next, we just want to cut it out. Now I have many layers here of tissue paper, but it might prove a little too thick for my scissors, so you can just take a few strands like this, keep them on top of each other, and just doing your best to be careful, just cut it out. And what you should have after cutting that out is something that looks like this. These are going to be our flower petals, and we're going to glue these around our flower stem. So as you can see, those are all our petals, and we'll actually only need one of these sheets, which are actually very thin. Now if you want, you can do the same thing with your other colors too. So I've got a blue one here in addition to my pink one, and really you can do as many colors as you want. I'll show you how to do one color and two. Now we're going to take our glue and we're going to run a very thin, as thin as you can, line of glue along this side here. And then all the way down the tissue paper. As you can see, I've put a little bit of glue on the very end because we'll need to glue it shut. Now, if you're doing one color, this is all you need to do. But if you want to do two colors, what you can do instead is take your other color and lay it right on top in between the other petals like this. As best you can. Now that this is dried, we can apply another layer of glue on top of our blue, because again, we're gonna need this to stick to our floral wire, to our flower. And just the same, run a very thin line of glue along there and close it up at the end. You can see again, just a little line of glue on the very end, that way we can close it up. Okay. Now you're going to want to take your floral wire with your stamen, and on the edge that you've got that closing, you just want to place it there and let it dry, okay? I'll take you a bit closer. So as you can see, just place your flower on the very end of one side of the petals, and then just let it dry. Okay, this is dried onto our tissue paper now, and here is for the fun, though challenging part. You're going to want to literally wrap this around your flower. And this is going to make the petals, of course. The problem is that you don't want it to be too tight, but you don't want it to be too loose either. So as you roll it up, what I like to do is I'll roll up a few petals, and then I'll kind of make sure they're glued at the bottom here by holding it. But then I'll sort of fan the petals out to make sure that at the end we have like a nice full looking flower that's not too wrapped up but not too loose either. So just very carefully roll this up and do the best you can. Remember, this is a challenging craft. It took me a few times, but luckily you should have enough supplies to make a few flowers. That way you can try a bunch of different times, a bunch of different ways, maybe with a bunch of different colors, and maybe you'll finally get one that you like. At the end, you might have a bit of a gluey mess at the base of your flower. So all this means is maybe the next one you make, use a little less glue, or you can kind of just pinch it and let it dry as best as you can. I've got my flower now all wrapped up, but it's looking a little tight. So what I'm going to do is actually fan out the petals. And I'm just going to systematically go through and just individually sort of put my finger in between the petals and pull it out. That way we'll have a nice, balanced, full-looking flower. Now, in addition to fanning out the leaves, you're also going to want to fan out the stamen a little bit. So you take it and you just, same thing as with the petals, just sort of push them apart a bit. It gets you some nice variation. Now, it really is important to let that bottom dry, because as you can see here, I didn't give mine time to dry, and now my bottom is all goopy and gluey and my petals are kind of ruined. But there's an upside. If you find that you're not happy with your petals, you can still save the stamen and the floral wire, which are sort of the most valuable part, just by pulling them out. Okay, and then you can start over with new tissue paper and maybe try out a new way. Now, we tried this a few ways, and these are the 3 flowers that we came up with. So I really like making a few, because I think when you just have one, you kind of get tired of looking at it. You notice all its imperfections, but when you got a whole kind of bouquet arrangement, like, isn't that just fabulous? So we made a few. I think we're most happy with this one. I really like the way this one looks. So just keep at it, keep trying. If you want, you can even just try gluing some of the petals on, whatever works for you. But I promise after a few tries, you'll get a lot better. You'll kind of get a feel of what works for you. And maybe you'll end up with something as cute as this. So let's go give it to our Valentine. Fury, happy Valentine's Day. How do they smell? Do you like them? Or you want me to, okay, I'll go put them in a vase by the window. Yeah, and then they'll stay for longer. Okay, well, happy Valentine's Day. There you go, Fury. That way they'll stay nice and good. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed our first edition of Valentine's Day Crafting with Big Brothers Big Sisters. Please send us your finished product of the flowers. We'd love to see how they turned out. I'm really excited to see how everyone takes their own spin on them. And especially, we'd love to see you next Friday, the 22nd, at our Among Us game night. Yes, we'd love to see you. It's running from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's going to be a ton of fun. Among Us was huge last year, and I think we're gonna have a really good time playing it. Ages are 8+, so check us out on Facebook for that event. And keep an eye out for our other crafting, cooking, and experiment videos this month. Can't wait to see you then. Have a wonderful February and Valentine's Day, everyone. Take care.